Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? This is Judy Anderson, and I'm an independent demonstrator from the United States. And I would like to welcome our live viewing friends and those watching on replay. Whether you're watching on Facebook or my YouTube channel, welcome to everybody. Make sure you like and follow me on my Facebook page and on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you know every time I come on live or post a video. So each week, Diane and I collaborate to bring you guys some projects. And this week, we're bringing you some new items from the new annual catalog again. We love sharing projects with you guys. And I love Diane's masculine card yesterday. So make sure you guys say hello as you come on and let us know where you're coming from. I am just checking to make sure that I am on. There we go. Okay, so I am on. So I wasn't too sure. I'm not getting too much up on my laptop. So I'm going to switch the camera around and we're going to start talking about what I'm going to be using today. Flip you around real quick. That was harmless, huh? So I am using the Sending Smiles bundle that's found on page 14. I'm having a little bit of trouble talking today. Oh my gosh. I love this. It's got so many different sentiments, and I love that the sending with the dies, you have a cutout that is small, just like the stamp, and then you have a shadow with it. Now, I'm not using that today. I'm going to use that in the future, but it has like a variety of sentiments in here that can be used for just about any occasion. You've got a thanks, a birthday, just a hello, a love, a comfort and strength, sending smiles across the miles. Yeah, I talk about sending cards to people, and a good luck and a sunshine to brighten your day. So I consider this an all season stamp. So if you're looking for one of those stamp sets that hits all different kinds of occasions and you can use any season, this is the stamp set for you. So I'm going to go ahead. Sorry. And there goes that old throat again. I have been fine. I don't know what it is. I really don't. It was funny because last week when I came on, I was all hoarse and I had a class immediately after, and I went to the class and I was still hoarse, and my students were kind of chuckling about it. Go, yeah, we saw you on Facebook, and like within 10 minutes, it cleared up. So who knows what it is? So here's the Sending Smiles stamp set. It's got 22 stamps in it, and they are just so much fun. And here are the dies. So you can cut out. So remember I was talking about the fine line. So you have a stamp that says sending, or you can die cut it out. And then you have the shadow. So you could stamp it and use the shadow around it instead of fussy cutting it. And then all kinds of dies. We're going to be actually using this one today. And I am going to be using, I think it will fit. I'm looking. It will fit on that one. I'm going to use the long one, the long narrow die. We may end up using these little flowers too. I'm not too sure. So for our paper, I have a scrap piece of basic white that I'm going to stamp the flower and die cut it out. I have a stencil that I'm going to use because we're going to be doing a background on this, and just part of and part of the front. Now, my card base is a little bit different size. It measures 8 inches by 5 1/4 and scored at 4 inches. So it's a ½ inch smaller in both directions. And let me just go ahead and do this. And this is a paper saving technique that I teach for everybody. And this is, Chris is saying tree pollen. Yeah, if I don't know, Chris, it bewilders me. So I have a piece of our polished pink cardstock, and this measures 4¼ by 5½. So that is our standard size. This is going to be put on here. So if you are a person that purchases the assortment of cardstock in the color family, this is a great way. I just noticed that this wasn't folded quite straight. I'm going to straighten that out. This is a great way. You can get 4 cards this way out of your colored cardstock. And we'll do these placing the white on here. So now I'm going to be doing some stenciling. And you're going to see on this side, I've used this before. I actually figured out this is a 4 by 5¼ piece of cardstock. And I wanted to make sure I didn't get this color on any part of my card. So I made it the full size. We are going to start with our Coastal Cabana is going to be one of our colors. Then the next layer is going to be the Tahitian Tide. So I am incorporating one of those in colors. I'm going to go up a little bit higher with this. So let me just loosen this up just a little bit. There we go. So it's a little bit farther away. Tighten it up. There we go. Okay, and Tahitian Tide. Originally, I was going to use mint macaron, but I decided to change my colors up. We're going to be using Granny Apple Green. It's still going to look fantastic. Now, some of you have asked me with our blending brushes if you have to wash them out. The answer is yes and no. If you can, I have put a sticker on each one of mine. So all my blues I use with this one, my greens I use with this one. I will just wipe it off on a scrap piece of paper to begin with. Let me grab this and get all that color that's in there out, just like that. And you'll get most of that color out. Then I can use it in my next color. But I decided before I came on today that I would wash my blue one to show you what it looks like when it's washed. So all the ink still is not out of here. I just took a little bit of soap, washed it, and then I dried it with a paper towel, and I'm surprised that it dried as fast as it did. So as you can see, this one is really dark with colors, but if you are going to use it on different colors. So if you're going to go from blue to pink or red, I would definitely wash it out because otherwise you're going to get a purple color when you go and blend. Okay, so we're going to start with our Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to line this up on there. And yes, I used our rectangle dies. I used the largest rectangle for this stencil. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to brush in both directions. That way my brush gets ink on both sides of those brushes. And I'm just going to start at the top, and I decided that make it easy, just line this up to the edges of the card. And I'm going to start at the top. Ooh, it's a little bit darker. You know what? I'm going to flip it over. I can do that because that's going to be on that mat. I must have, even though I thought it was dry, it is a little bit damp. So I'm going to take it off here and get most of that color off and then go on to here. And I'm probably going to get some of that stitching. I did on my others that I did. And I'm just going to keep blending this until I get a nice soft look. See how it's just blending in there? And it doesn't have to be a straight line across. This is just fine. Now I'm going to take this same brush and I'm going to dip it into my Tahitian Tide. Ink that up. And I get that scrap piece of paper that I had. Just want to test this to see how, okay, it's not too dark. Just want to make sure it wasn't too dark. And I'm going to go start off again, start on the side and color to the inside. There we go. I must have lost you guys. That was my internet. So if you lost me for a minute, it was my internet. I want to apologize. So I am just going to blend that until they blend in seamlessly. Okay, now I'm going to change my brushes and I'm going to go into my Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to pick that color up, going in both directions so I get color all over those brushes. And let's start off and work our way onto the card. And once again, just like I did with the Tahitian, I'm going into the Tahitian tide a little bit. And that's going to help blend that color. Okay, now I'm going to clean off my brush and I'm gone back to my blue brush. And I want to get all that Tahitian tide out as much as I can. Okay, I'm going back to my Coastal Cabana. I'm picking up some color. And here we go. I'm going to brush over the entire thing with my Coastal Cabana, particularly towards the top here. Not as much onto the Granny Apple, but that's just going to blend those colors on. And see how we have the stitching there? I like that look. I like how it came out. Okay, so now we're going to start stamping on here. And I am going to first move this out of the way, and we are going to grab the Smiles Across the Miles, and I'm going to be stamping that onto a piece of 1/2 inch basic white. So when I cut my cardstock down for my layers, I keep some of those 1/2 inch strips just for this case. Now I don't have to worry that this is really straight on here because we are going to die cut it. You could choose to die cut it first. Okay, so we've got that. And see how that's going to cut it out? So it didn't have to be exactly straight. We make it straight with the die. Okay, so we have that. Let's move that out of the way. And now we're going to our polished pink. And I just realized I need a center for my flower. Forgot all about that. So I'm going to grab another color. Stamp that good and solid. Look at that. So pretty. Okay, we're going to go in here, and inside here we have 2 centers. We've got this one down here and this one up here. I am going to be using this one because I want to go in the center of that flower. So that is this one right up here. And I think I am going to go with Mango Melody for my center. Stamp that right in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. And then we're going to grab our ink pads again and we're going to finish stamping the front of our card. Now, most of these, I think all these dies will fit into your mini machine. I do not have my mini machine here today, so we're going to use the big one, and that's okay. So we're going to have our number 1 plate, our number 2 plate, and then 2 number 3 plates for this. I'm going to go ahead and put our flower on here, and if I was really brave, I would do both of them at the same time, but I'm not. I want to make sure that that sentiment is pretty straight on that and doesn't move. So we've got that on that side, and that is cut out. Let's grab our sentiment, and this time I am using a piece of Post-it note. We're just going to put that on there, get it as straight as we can. Just going to put that right across there. You know, I did get our adhesive, um, not adhesive. Oh my gosh, it's our post-it notes, but they're full sheets. But they're due in to me today. And my UPS driver went past this morning, but I think he was doing overnight or 2-day ones because he didn't stop here, which means I won't get it until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, let's remove this. And I intentionally left this with a larger space here, but can you tell here how that is like a beveled edge on that die, which I really like when those dies, those happy moments, those happy surprises that come to us. Okay, so we have our card front. I am going to stamp the stem in the, I have ink all over my pad, in the Granny Apple Green, and I am going to be stamping that directly on here. And I am going to have it come off just like that. Look how good. I just love these images. Look how good and straight that comes. Now it did come out a little bit darker because I put a little bit more ink than when you brush it, but it's in the same tones. If I wanted it a little bit lighter, I wouldn't have put as much ink on there. Now we have our flower. And this is a fairly simple card. I've had a couple requests for a little bit simpler cards, not so much die cutting in that. So just 2 dies on this one. We're going to put this. So you could put it so it's coming down like that, or we could put it so it's going up. I kind of like it this way. So it's just going right over there. Now, we have that. So around the edges here, I am going to take my polished pink ink and a sponge dauber, and I need to get a clean one out. In case you want to know, this is how I keep all my sponges and my daubers. This, I think, is a tackle box thing that I had picked up in my woodworking days. So I'm just going to take and I'm just going to put a little bit of that polished pink along that edge. I don't want a whole lot. And since it's beveled, it's kind of just going on that beveled edge there. So it's almost looking like it's cardstock. Just a very slight layer there. Tiny stamp, don't lose it. True, Chris. Oh my gosh. That is definitely a tiny stamp. And those are the ones that get lost the most. So what I do is I leave it on here until I'm ready to put it away. Okay, we're just going to put this right across here. So let me get my dimensionals. Let's get our minis for that. And just put those right on there. So, how is everybody doing? Has everybody gotten their first order yet? I know it's taking a little bit longer. I had an order setting in our UPS. Actually, it's the one that's coming today. It's been sitting in the 2 towns over for 2 days. I couldn't believe it. It was like it was due to me yesterday. It was like, where is it? So we're just going to put this right here. Just like that. Okay, now we have in here some little, I don't know, they could be flowers, they could be leaves, depending on how you did it. I want this just a very clean card. I don't want much on it. I love it, this clean card like this, but we need something on the inside. So we are going to stamp those same images. We are going to stamp the leaf and the flower on the inside. And Chris, you were saying don't lose that tiny one. I have actually lost the large one. Oh, here it is. my leaf. Now, you want to make sure I have plastic up a little bit. And I just want a little bit of greenery on the inside. And then I'm going to go with that flower. And this flower this time is going to be facing up a little bit. Let's go just like that. And I have everything here within 3 feet of, within arm's reach, right? And losing it. Okay, we're going to go with that flower there. And then the inside is going to say a card to say hello. I'm going to challenge everybody today to send a card to somebody just to say hello. How are you doing? Glad to know you. Happy to be your friend. Miss you. Just send a happy card today. Okay, so now this is going to be covered up. Like I said, we're going to be putting it onto our card here. And then I'm going to get a couple of embellishments. Let me reach my embellishments here. And see, I think these would be too bright. Those are too red for that. However, I do think that the 2021 to 2023 in color opal rounds, have you guys seen these yet? Oh my gosh. So we have some polished pink in here. The greens wouldn't go, well, the green would go with this, but I think I'm going to continue with that pink theme. And let's do, here's my take your pick. Put some of these on, although these might go on too. These might look really good. These are actually the pale papaya, but look at that next to the mango. I think I'm going to do the pale papaya ones. And we're going to do, oh yeah, I laugh when Diane goes to put hers on too. It's like, where do we put them? Oh, we're going to put that one down there. We could have done black also. That would have highlighted the verse instead. So this is a very quick and easy and simple looking card. So I am going to look. Tiny stamp. Oh, Chris hasn't received her order yet. So I am hoping that you all can see this because when I came on today, Diane's icon wasn't as dark as it was, but it is showing that it is going out to Diane. So I'm hoping it is. So very simple card today as requested by you, and a little happy inside also. And you guys learned also another paper saving technique if you haven't heard about that yet. So I'd like to say goodbye, and until next time, everybody, happy stamping.